So with seemingly no new golden towers coming anytime soon, I'm here to do a deep dive into each golden tower and explain in detail their use cases and rank them based on how good they are as a tower. So without further ado, let's begin. At the last place, we have the Golden Ranger. Now, although me putting it here, it doesn't mean that Golden Ranger is bad, it only means how the other Golden Towers are better. So, Golden Ranger's primary use case is for early game, with having both pretty decent DPS for early game and being pretty cost efficient as well. Both pads till level 5 are pretty similar, and practically it doesn't matter what pad you upgrade till you upgrade to the max level. Top pad of Golden Ranger aims for more DPS, while the bottom pad acts more like a crowd control / stalling tower. The cost difference between top and bottom pad aren't much, with top pad only costing 7,000 more, with costing 57,000 in total and has 525 DPS in total. Bottom pad costs 50,000 to max out and only has 260 DPS, but it's an ability to throw a grenade with a cooldown of 7 seconds, with the grenade dealing 350 damage with stunning each and every enemy including bosses for 1 second, with also inflicting the hit enemies with burn effect dealing 50 DPS for 5 seconds for an additional 250 damage. Plus at the max level it also gains a passive grenade ability with throwing an incendiary grenade that deals 20 DPS for 5 seconds, slows down enemies for 4 seconds and lasts on the ground for a few seconds. So in a normal match, it will throw grenades on its own every 10 seconds, burning its enemies. So overall, on early game it's really good, and if you want to use them after the early game, you have the option to use it as side DPS with the top pad, or as a crowd control / stalling option with the bottom pad. In my opinion, bottom pad is more worthwhile, since although having less DPS, it can do pretty well with its passive grenades. And if you place a few of them, there will always be some fire on the ground, slowing enemies down and burning them for DPS. And overall, although being good with having decent DPS on top pad, in most cases you already have another DPS option, so I really doubt anyone will go out of their way to use the top pad. But by just placing a few bottom pads, you will have a significantly easier time against crowds. Plus, with its non-passive grenade ability, you can stun bosses. And although the stun being pretty insignificant with only being 1 second long, with having multiple bottom pads, you can spam the ability. So overall, I think the Golden Ranger is a solid A tier tower. On early game, it's pretty good. On late game, it can still help if you know how to use it. Now you may be surprised how Golden Juggernaut is here, only at number 3. But I find Golden Juggernaut to be replaceable by other DPS options, while number 2 and number 1 Golden Towers dominate their own categories. So to start with Golden Juggernaut, he is a mid to late game DPS option. He overall isn't that expensive and can offer great value in most of his levels. His top pad aims for more cost efficiency and stable DPS, while bottom pad leans more on straight DPS. With using a bottom pad of EDJ, fourth upgrade of the top pad is one of either the most efficient way of dealing DPS in the game. Don't quote me on that by the way, cause I am not that sure. It may not be the single most cost efficient thing there is, but still, it is one of the most efficient things out there. With the support of EDJ, fourth upgrade of the top pad can reach around 420 DPS for the price of $30,000. So overall, if your goal is to get cost efficient DPS, use a 4-2 Golden Juggernaut. For top pad's max level, it's pretty bad, since it can't be made cheaper with EDJ, and it's not even doubling its DPS. So what would be the reason to use a top pad max level, you may ask? Let me answer you. It's ignore golden resistance. Golden Juggernaut is really powerful, yes, but a lot of enemies have golden resistances with varying percentages. So with getting to the max level, you make sure you deal your DPS without anything lessening your Juggernaut's effects. Plus, it adds an ability and pierce. The pierce it has isn't really that useful with only having one pierce, but still it is something nonetheless. And for the ability, it gives Golden Juggernaut 25% damage buff, thus 25% more DPS for 7 seconds. Heals it for 2000 HP and removes debuffs. So with the ability boosting your Golden Juggernaut by a significant margin, you should spam it as much as you can for dealing as much DPS as possible. And with having a 10-second cooldown, there's practically no downtime, so spamming it is a valid option. Now for the bottom pad, it leans for doing as much DPS as possible. Bottom pad's 3rd and 4th levels are also really cost efficient, but I would say it's overall less reliable with having less range, but they're still decent to go for nonetheless. and at the bottom pad max, it gains a lot of DPS, with dealing 1500 DPS without any supports, and around 2500 with supports. So overall it's generally better to have, but with it not having ignore golden resistance, it struggles a lot. When it first released, people used golden Juggernaut for its pure DPS, and mostly went for bottom pad, but with the game evolving over time, and with stronger DPS towers getting released, golden Juggernaut's role evolved from dealing pure DPS to being a stable damage dealer. So people who wanted to deal raw damage moved on from golden Juggernaut to towers like Refractor, so bottom pad lost some of its purpose. That's why I would recommend the top pad. It's overall a stable DPS tower that is fully buffable and has ignore golden resistance with a huge range, so it functions well. But still, if you want to deal as much damage as possible, bottom pad is still here. But with an average enemy having at least 20% golden resistance, with some bosses having upwards of 40 to 50% golden resistances, your insane DPS gets lowered to being about the top pad or even worse. So in my opinion, top pad is to go for. If you want pure DPS, go for Refractor. So I will rank golden Juggernaut 8 here. An overall pretty balanced tower with both of its paths being really good, and with being a standard option for DPS towers. With the most recent patch, golden MineLayer has been nerfed, with it slightly getting nerfed at the bottom pad and decreasing its placement count. Small DPS tweaks aren't much of a problem, but placement limit was impactful, but still, although all those, he is still at number 2. Now there are 3 reasons why golden MineLayer is that good and is high up here, and those are it being a really good damage dealer, it being a really good crowd controller, and it being a really good stalling option. Let's start with its levels first. First of all, I would like to say that the top pad is not worthwhile to use, so don't, and never use it. Top pad max level costs 31,000 to max out, while bottom pad's 4th level also costing 31,000. Hell, if you think about it, since you can't use discounts at max levels, with EDJ, bottom pad is so much more cheap, while top pad deals 420 damage with a 67-second lifetime mines, while for cheaper, you can use the bottom pad's 4th level, which deals 570 damage per mine with a mine lifetime of 142 seconds. Plus bottom pad's mines have a burn effect tied to them, so before I analyze, I just want you to know I'll only be going over the bottom pad since top pad is genuinely shit. So golden MineLayer is a DPS slash crowd control slash stalling tower which should be used upon mid to late game. For early game, the splash radius of the mines are small enough to only hit one enemy, and golden MineLayer has a slow enough fire rate to not be able to stand on his own. But around the mid game section of the match, you can use 3rd and the 4th level of him to deal significant damage, with 3rd level's mines dealing 270 and 4th level's mines dealing 570 damage respectively. The mines also gain Termite from level 3 onwards, dealing 10 burn DPS for 10 seconds for an additional 100 damage at level 3 and 20 burn DPS for 14 seconds for an additional 280 damage at level 4. Level 4 is overall pretty cheap, and with EDJ it's made cheaper, so for some good card control and overall high DPS, it's pretty worthwhile to spam level 4 MineLayers. And at max level, it costs you a lot to upgrade, but for its price, it gains mines that deal 1400 damage per mine, whom also deal 100 termite DPS for 10 seconds, so another 1000 damage adding up to 2400 damage with a mine lifetime of 175 seconds. Each mine also gains the ability to stun enemies that walk over them. So at max level, golden MineLayer also gains the ability to be a support tower with being able to stall enemies. Max level also gains the throw ability, where golden MineLayer throws a mine to the strongest enemy on the map, dealing 5250 damage to them and 1250 to any surrounding enemies while stunning them for 1 second. So in DPS case, MineLayer stands out on its own since it places mines, and although having a small 240 in DPS, with its gimmick of not attacking enemies and placing mines, it practically works as doing that 240 in DPS all the time, unlike the other towers that deal damage while only actively shooting. And with it constantly doing DPS, the DPS it does stacks up. And a little fun fact out there, a singular MineLayer can stack up to 27 mines before the older mines start despawning, so in total, a singular MineLayer can unleash 37,665 damage on the ground. So with being able to place 22 golden MineLayers, you can stack up to 828,630 damage on the ground. And by calculating EDJ increasing MineLayer speed without using any anchors, Just by EDJ's passive, you can stack up 1,135,530 damage on the map. Even more with using Anchor, so it lays enough mines to be considered as a DPS tower. And even if not, the damage it offers is way too high just to ignore. On crowd control wise, when a mine explodes, it leaves behind a termite fire trail that burns enemies, dealing 100 burn DPS, and with it staying on the ground, a lot of enemies can be affected by the termite. And besides that, the termite mines have a splash radius, so it hits multiple enemies at once, thus allowing it to deal as much damage as it can. And on stalling side, even if you just place a few of them on the map, with them constantly laying mines, it will eventually create a wall of mines, sorta acting like a barrier. And with each mine stunning everything besides bosses, you can cause a shit ton of stalling, with stopping practically any enemy. Cause remember, even with a singular MineLayer, you can have up to 27 mines, thus 27 seconds of stalling, just by one golden MineLayer. It overall has one of the best stallings in the game, offering direct ignore golden resistance explosions to stop the enemies. And the cherry on top, the ability it has is just amazing. Dealing 5250 damage while stunning any enemy, including bosses, with an infinite range is really handy to have. You can have a lot of MineLayers all around the map, and with just a click of a button, send a mine flying down to a boss to stun them. And with the ability's cooldown being fairly low, you can spam the shit out of the ability. Plus, the damage it deals is really valuable as well. So with using the ability on all 22 MineLayers, you can deal 115,500 damage just by one throw ability, just by pressing a button, dealing over 100,000 damage. And people were shit talking about how OP Relic's ability was. With Relic's ability, you can summon 500,000 HP worth of enemies, but literally a solid 90% of bosses have collision resistance, so they don't take the full 500,000 damage. Plus the ability has a cooldown of 200 something seconds, while Golden MineLayer's ability only takes 20 seconds to fire again. So with all those said, with offering insane damage, insane crowd control, and insane stalling, Golden MineLayer is easily an S tier tower. In my opinion, the nerf it got was in the right direction, but it wasn't enough. 30 placement limit was too much, yes, but 22 we have is still too much. Compared to all splash towers whom have a placement limit, Golden MineLayer's limit exceeds them drastically. So low key, the nerf it received wasn't enough, and still is one of the best towers in the game. And for being the big number one, we have the Golden Mobster. Now before I talk about its stats and use cases, I want to make one clear distinction between how powerful MineLayer is compared to Golden Mobster. Golden MineLayer overall does better DPS, does stalling, something that Golden Mobster can't, and also does crowd control, something a Golden Mobster also can't. But there's one thing separating Golden Mobster from Golden MineLayer, their replaceability. Although being exceptionally powerful, Golden MineLayer in the end can be replaced by whatever uni it is. If you are looking for DPS, there are options such as Refractor, or Golden Juggernaut, Relic, and so on. If you are looking for Splash DPS, although MineLayer debatably being the best, it can still be replaced by Worship, MLRS, XWM, and so on. And on stalling, it can be replaced by Bubble Blower, Combat Drone, Slammer, and so on. Golden MineLayer is still really handy to have, with it being jack of all trades, but Golden Mobster offers something that no other tower can replace: economy. There are two other economy towers, yes, being Farm and Oil Derrick. But Farm is designed for early to mid game on lower difficulties, while Oil Derrick is designed for modes that take a shit ton of time. And overall, both towers are not that good. Farm is practically not used by any high-end player, and Oil Derrick, although being good, is niche with having some rough requirements to function well. Golden Mobster doesn't need that. With being good in early, mid, and even decent at late game, it can function in all game modes and in all difficulties really well. I'm not gonna go deep with all of its stats, with it having a lot of complicated things to go through, but let's take a look at its stats. On its top pad, Golden Mobster goes for more DPS, having 424 DPS and costing $136,000 to max out. Top pad also has an ability called Overload, where it buffs its damage for 123% for 18 seconds, while ignoring golden resistance, thus allowing it to deal full damage to every single enemy. With using EDJ, Top pad has decent DPS, and with the ability it has, it starts shredding enemies for the pretty long duration of 18 seconds. The cooldown the ability has is 25 seconds, so with only having a 7-second off time, spamming it is a valid strategy. Top pad also summons enforcers on the pad, with the enforcers having medium range and 208 DPS on enforcer level 3s. And the cash per second it has, 43 at level 3 on top pad, all the way up to 101 at top pad max. Cash generation on Mobster happens when it reloads, and with it gaining 410 coins per reload, it has a cash per second of 101. So I would say the use cases of top pad are more damage based, where if you need more DPS, you aim for the top pad, or if you need urgent DPS, you go for the top pad with its ability and such. Now for the more main deal, the bottom pad. It aims for more economy. It technically has more DPS with having 508, but it costs 70,000 more to max out, plus it doesn't have the overload ability, thus overall it does less DPS. The unit's spawns as well changes, from top pad being more enforcer based, spawning a lot of enforcers with each level upgrading the said enforcers. Bottom pad goes for Reapers, with high range, slow fire rate sniper units. Reapers, although being stronger than a singular enforcer with having 80 more DPS than enforcers. Top pad spawns 4 enforcers every 40 seconds, while bottom pad spawns 1 Reaper every 62 seconds. So overall, the spawns of bottom pad are weaker than the top pad, though I would say bottom pad spawns aim for different things, with the enforcers being a high pressure crowd, while the Reapers are slow chip damage units over long range, protecting themselves. Now for the main deal, the economy. Well, top pad generated 101 cash per second at max level, bottom pad generates 228 cash per second, more than doubling top pad's generation. On top of that, while losing the overload ability, bottom pad gains the bounty ability, being able to place bounties on enemies to earn more cash from them. A level 3 bottom pad golden mobster has bounty level 1, allowing the bounty enemy to drop 25% more cash, maxing out at $10,000. Level 2 bounty with 40% more cash, maxing out at $15,000. A level 3 bounty at max level, 50% more cash from an enemy, maxing at $120,000. Now let me explain this for you to understand clearer. Let's imagine there being an enemy with 100,000 HP. Without using a bounty, that enemy will generate you $100,000. But with the bounty, it will give you 50% of the enemy's HP as cash, thus giving you $150,000. A whopping $50,000 in your pocket with a click of a button. This ability at most can generate 120,000 cash, so if you use it on a million HP enemy, you won't generate $500,000, but still will generate 120,000 nonetheless. Overall, even without the bounty, the bottom pad is way better cash income source, but with bounty, it improves a lot. Now let's get back to me saying, although golden MineLayer is really good, it can be replaced, while golden mobster can't. Let's look at other economy towers now, shall we? Farm first. Bottom pad farm generates $3,490 per wave, and with it being limited per wave, the cash generating is genuinely nothing compared to golden mobster. For top pad farm, the value depends which towers are surrounding it, so in the worst case, it generates 1,845 cash per wave, which is abysmal, and at most, it generates 6,845 per wave, which requires you to place valuable towers near farm, or place farm near valuable towers, mostly in the middle of a battlefield. Now I don't mean the farm is a bad tower, but farm is designed for really early progress for a beginner, playing easy and intermediate mode. Anything above that, it's not good. So at eco, it's not even properly comparable to golden mobster. Now for its main competitor, Oil Derrick, I would say it is still not even good enough to replace golden mobster by any means. Top pad Oil Derrick generates 575 cash per 4 seconds, thus generating 143 cash per second, which is lower than golden mobster, remind you, while bottom pad generates 50 cash per second, but with a cash multiplication of 18%. Firstly, unlike golden mobster, whom defends the waves while generating cash, Oil Derrick doesn't do that, so to generate that income first, it needs to pay itself back. For a maxed out top pad Oil Derrick, for the tower to generate profit, it needs 8 minutes and 5 seconds just to pay itself back. Now you may point out the same problem with Mobster, saying it also needs time to pay itself back, but unlike Oil Derrick, golden mobster isn't just an economy tower, it also defends, so the argument fails. For bottom pad, the cash it generates per wave and per second are useless, but the 18% more cash generation is actually really good. But with it only being an economy tower with no defense, it still cannot replace Mobster. So overall, without extending the argument more, Golden Mobster is just the best golden tower in the game. Like perhaps the bottom pad for Oiled Air can replace the cash generation of the Golden Mobster, but it won't be able to defend, and with you having a limited amount of space in your loadout, having an all-rounder good defense tower, whom is also arguably the best economy tower in the game, can't really be truly replaced by Oiled Air. So in the end, the analysis of the golden towers goes like this. Number 4. Golden Ranger. Good but niche and replaceable. Number 3. Golden Juggernaut. Good, strong and reliable DPS tower, but still has alternatives. Number 2. Golden MineLayer. Exceptional jack of all trades tower with being really good at all those set trades, but still isn't the master of any. And at specific things it has alternatives. And number 1. Golden Mobster, which is almost impossible to replace and overall is an amazing tower to have. It's both really powerful and good, and with its economy, it gains a spot that no other tower can fill. And with that was it. Before you go, please subscribe. I've been writing the script for 2 days now, and God knows how long it'll take me to edit this. So please, click that button. It won't cost you anything, and you'll be supporting a fella out there. So with that all said, I was your host HD, and thanks for watching.